And I heard this couple, didn't know each other. They wanted to go on a blind date. Okay? So after connected over the phone, they had to agree on a place to meet up. They do. And then the guy asked the woman, and said, how am I going to recognize you? And she said, well, I'm 5'7", 122 pounds. And then she asked him, how am I recognize you? I will be the one walking around with the scale and the measuring tape. I want to talk to you today about overcoming our limitations. Overcoming our limitations. Well, this is something that we should all be aware, right? We should be aware of our gifts, but we should also be aware of our limitations. Sometimes limitations are real, okay? Sometimes they are real. They are there for a reason. So you won't take the wrong path in life, because we all come with specific mission. We come equipped from birth for some specific things that we have to achieve in this world. It's what the rabbis call the divine mission that we have. So sometimes limitations are there for a reason, but sometimes limitations in our lives just here. It's in our imagination. We don't really have a limitation. We invent a limitation and we get stuck. And that also prevents us from achieving our goals and from achieving our divine mission. I believe the word divine mission and the concept of divine mission, it's even more important during the months before Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, when it's a time where we evaluate what we did during the past year, but most importantly, what we did not do. What we didn't do is as important, or maybe sometimes even more, of what we actually did. Because yes, we go around during Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, we beat our chest, saying and reading a list of everything we did wrong. Everything we did wrong. Remember, long list. But what about things that we didn't do? Sometimes we have to stop and think of those things too. And yes, you will say, well, I didn't do it because I couldn't do it. And yes, as I mentioned, sometimes it's true. Sometimes it is that we didn't try it hard enough, or we didn't take the time to remove the impediments to reach that or to do that. And the thing is, sometimes what is stopping us from doing certain things is the bad habits that we acquire during our lives, and then it's very, very difficult to change. And we have those habits. We don't even think about it. They are in autopilot within ourselves, pushing us to do certain things, but also stopping us from achieving certain other things. The rabbis have a very interesting word for that drive that it will take us to bad places. The rabbis call it the Yetzer Hara. Have you ever heard about that word? Yetzer Hara. How is it translated? Evil inclination. Evil inclination. It's interesting. Ra means bad. Yetzer is it's like a side of us. Okay? And it's interesting. In English we translated evil inclinations, even though the rabbi said that there is nothing evil with that. Sometimes we have drives, we have urges, right? That they are there for a purpose. It's good or bad. We don't know until we do something with that. Because a drive can take you to very good places, or a drive can take you to very bad places. It's up to us how we channel that sort of energy that we have inside. So, for example, the rabbis give some examples in the Talmud about the Yetzer Hara, and they will say that we human beings, sometimes we have a drive for sex, right? And that depends, that could become lust, or that could become a beautiful marriage. We also have a drive for money. That can become greed, or that can become a wonderful business that can help others and can improve society. So it's all about how we control the Yetzer Hara. In fact, the rabbi said Yetzer Hara is not something that is supposed to be eliminated. We have to learn to deal with that. But we have to be in control of the Yetzer Hara. So, and it's interesting because sometimes we know this. We know that there are certain things that we have to do, we have to change. We even have it detected. But we don't do it. Why? Because, well, you know, I have too much on my plate right now. So I don't think it's the right moment to start changing habits or other things like that. Let me tell you something. It's never the right moment. If you look at your life in retrospective, when was the right moment to do something? There is always something else. So if there is a right moment, according to the rabbis, it is the month of Elul, before Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. That should be the right moment to start changing bad habits and to start taking control over our Yetzer Hara. And that's how we come to this week's parsha, at the very beginning. Remember I told you that we should read it as a beautiful metaphor? The parsha starts with the following words. Ki tetzei lemilchama al oyevecha, unetano Adonai Elohecha beyadecha, veshavita shivyo. It says, when you go to war against the enemy, God will deliver them into your hand, and you will take it, the enemy, prisoner. Okay? So the rabbis say that the enemy mentioned here is the Yetzer Hara. So it said when you go to war against the Yetzer Hara, if you go to war, because you realize that nothing is going to happen unless you decide to go to war, to face it. If you decide not to face the Yetzer Hara, forget about the rest of the verse, because nothing applies to it. You are not in that situation. But if you decide to do it, if you decide to face the Yetzer Hara, what is going to happen? God is going to give the Yetzer Hara into your hand. And the rabbi said, you know what is the opposite of you having the Yetzer Hara in your hand? Yetzer Hara is get you into its hand. So it's either we are in the hands of the Yetzer Hara, or the Yetzer Hara is in our hand. Once you discover that drive, then you have to have it into your hand and take it prisoner. You don't have to kill it. You don't have to make it go away. You have to take it prisoner, and you are in control of what happened with that prisoner. But there is more. There is more in this parsha, because it says after you take prisoner, and then it continues with a female prisoner, right? That you may want to take her as your wife. Remember, it's all metaphor. It's still talking about the Yetzer Hara here. First thing you have to go is to shave her hair, and many things, according to Rashi, what you have to do is to make her ugly. What do you have to make her ugly? And said, this is when you discover your urge, make it ugly. Measure consequences. Where are you going to take you? Visit the dark places that urge, that drive can take you. Do you still want to have it with you? Do you still want to make it your new habit? If you do, remember, said the Torah, if you marry it, she will be your wife forever. If you decide to adopt a new habit, remember, it's going to be with you forever, because we know how difficult it is to break a bad habit. If not, let it go right away. Don't even touch it. But if you decide to incorporate it into your life, it will stay with you forever. So, this is a reminder that high holidays are approaching. And I know it's never a good time. We have too many other things to stop and think about everything we didn't do last year. But the rabbi said this is a good time to have a face-to-face encounter with our Yetzer Hara, with our drives, the energy that pushed us to do and not to do. So don't be afraid. Face it and present war to the Yetzer Hara, because if you do that, if you try to do the right thing, then God will be there for you, and you will have the Yetzer Hara in your hand, and not the other way around. Shabbat Shalom.